Hi, now I'm going to show you how to make an herbal infusion. It's really very simple, and there are a few different factors you can take into account to make it easier for you in different ways. So first of all, you'll want to have a container to make the infusion in. I like this container. If you have a press like this, it's really great for making herbal infusions. The caveat is don't use one that you've made coffee in, because it will taste like coffee. So unless you want your infusion to have a coffee kind of taste to it, use a separate press for making your herbal infusion. Or if it's easier for you, you can use just a quart jar like this. A wide mouth one can make it easier to get the herbs in and out. But you can also use a juice jar that's emptied and cleaned well if you want to recycle in that way. So then you need to choose what herbs you're going to use. So one female herb that's commonly used is raspberry leaf. And if you want a source for buying a pound of raspberry leaf, you don't have a local place to do that, a really good source is mountainroseherbs.com. They have a lot of really good organic things and other kinds of ways to make herbal tinctures, herbal teas, all different things. One of the things they have, which can make your infusion easier, is you can buy different size of tea bags, which are empty. You put the herbs in, and then you just iron the top of it closed. And there you have your own tea bag that you've made with your own blend or just single tea. And it will make it so you don't have to strain the herbs. It'll make it easier to use fresh kind of herbal infusions that you want to make for yourself. So one thing you can do is make an herbal tea bag, or otherwise you're going to just take a handful. Another herb that I use a lot in Colorado, because it's so dry here, oat straw, it's more moistening. That all the herbal nutritive herbs, oat straw, the raspberry leaf, nettles is another one that has lots and lots of minerals and vitamins in it. Red clover is especially good if you're trying to get pregnant. It's fertility enhancing. All of these have lots of minerals, which are good for your nervous system. And in fact, oat straw, you can think of the saying, sowing your wild oats. Well, oat straw helps improve your energies so that you have enough left over to have sexual energy too. So I'm going to make oat straw today. So if I make nettles or raspberry, it's a little too biting of a flavor for me. So I add a little bit, just a pinch of mint to it to give it a little more sweetness. With oat straw is quite sweet on its own. That's part of its nutritive quality. And so you don't really need to do that. And I have one of these electric teapots, and I find them excellent because they warm up very quickly, and then you don't have to spend as much time waiting for your water to get heated up. So I'm going to take a great big handful. I'm not going to use a tea bag this time. I'm going to take this apart. And I don't have a camera. I'm just using my computer, so excuse my jiggling around as I try to make this so you can see what's going on. So I'm taking a big handful. And I'm going to put a little extra in there. Put what you think is about an ounce, and which is quite a bit of these dried leaves and dried straw. It takes quite a bit to weigh an ounce. So if anything, err on the side of too much. It's not going to make things worse. So I put some in there, and then I make some in my quart jar, just so you can see. It can get a little messy. Making a mess is part of the fun sometimes. And so the oat straw has a sort of, like I said, it's sweet. It's a kind of grass, oats. And so it has a little kind of greenish, grassy taste to it, and I like that combination myself. But what you can do with the infusions is that you can actually mix them, like I was going to mix a little mint into the infusion as I'm making it, if I make it with nettles or raspberry leaf. However, you can also, once you've made the infusion, warm it up and then put a tea bag to flavor it. So if you have this kind of tea that you like, that you want to add to flavor it, or in the summertime, you can mix it with some kind of juice to flavor it and sweeten it. I find with oat straw, it's sweet enough for me when it's done. However, some people might like to add a sweetener, so a natural sweetener like honey is always best for sweetening. And so, see, this is getting hot, and I filled it up so I can, maybe I'll have enough for both of my containers. But you'll want to fill it up, and then you'll want to let it sit for 4 hours or more. So some of the herbs, like the oat straw, I find it does really well overnight. The other ones, sometimes for me, get a little bit too much of the astringent and bitter flavors in them. But if you like those flavors, you might enjoy letting them sit overnight, and that way you can make them the night before for the next day's usage. Now, usually you're going to drink like 1 or 2 big mugs a day, and whatever you don't drink, what's left over, you'll want to refrigerate it, because it is so nourishing of ingredients. It will go bad, especially in the warm weather, if you let it sit out. But it's always best not to drink things ice cold. So if you do refrigerate it, warm it up a bit, or add it to some hot tea that you already have and so forth to make it so that it's a temperature that will be kind to your digestive system and not cool it down too much. It sounds like the water is getting close to boiling. So when the water's boiling hot, then I'll just top off each of my containers and cover them up. And then just let them sit for about 4 hours. I'll probably let them sit longer because I won't be here in 4 hours. I'll be gone this evening. And that's okay. It's a very forgiving process in general. Now, I mentioned that you have to refrigerate it. If the herbs are getting a little off, if you'll be able to smell it, and if you just take a little taste, you'll taste that it feels it's off, and then you don't want to drink it anymore. You can pour it into your compost, and I do recommend that you do kindly put the herbs in a compost if you possibly can, to give them back to the earth and feed the earth with whatever is left in them instead of putting them in a landfill, where they won't do so much good. So this is nice and boiling hot. It's steaming, and I'm going to fill up my container and put the top on. To hold in all the aromatic oils that might be in there. This one I didn't have quite enough water, but that's good for today. And like I said, now I'll let them sit 4 hours, and then I'll have some nourishing infusions to drink for the next couple of days. And I can share them with my family and friends too. So please go ahead and get some herbs together, get your containers, and give it a try. It's really easy, and when after it's sat for 4 hours, you're just gonna strain it into a new container. You don't need to leave the herb in there anymore, and that will help it stay good longer. And you can also keep that herb that's left over into your compost so it can go back to the earth. Enjoy your infusions and the health that comes from drinking them. Goodbye for now.